Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
Anticlimactic.
Okay, here we go.
Adjective. Lacking climax.
Okay.
Disappointing or ironically.
Okay. So this is Nerdrotic reacting or reviewing season 8, episode 3. Right? The Long Night.
Yes.
The Long Night
Long Night, yes.
and Game of Thrones.
Of
He's
Game of
about to
Thrones.
tweak on Arya, bro.
Why did I think it was called the Battle of Winterfell? I might have.
No.
Fucking, yeah.
No, you're true.
That's where it was.
It is.
Yeah,
It is the Long Night.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Yes, it's in Winterfell. All right. Here's Nerdrotic reviewing season 8, episode 3 of Game of Thrones. Here we go.
Insignificant following of impressive foreshadowing. After all the buildup, the ending of the story was an anticlimactic letdown. Remember in Lord of the Rings when
Wasn't
Sauron
the
was
end.
soundly defeated in the Two Towers and the Fellowship of the Ring went on to fight the Sackville Baggins? Remember in Die Hard when McClane defeated Hans
Not a
Gruber in
nerd,
the
so
first
no.
5 minutes and then he went into battle with Joan Collins from Dynasty? Remember in the Bible when Jesus defeated the devil, but then he had to take on the true evil in the world, a Zinfandel swilling soccer mom from Marin County? Remember when Game of Thrones used to be good? I do. Welcome, everybody. Gary here from Nerdrotic, and we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode 3, The Long Night of Disappointment. We did a big, long live stream with Doomcock. Link will be in the description, but this video is for those of you who didn't want to sit through that, or if you wanted to...
when your friend's name is
There will
Doomcock,
be
you
no
already have
breakdown
problems.
on this. Now, I have slept on it, and I feel
I mean, you're not
exactly the
working
same
from
way.
me.
You slept on
The highest
Doomcock?
level.
And
Did he
oh
just say he
my
slept on Doomcock?
expectations were subverted. Certainly, right in the beginning, I expected to be able to see this episode, but I couldn't. Expectations subverted. Well done, Dan and Dave. You got me there. Well,
Let me stop him there because obviously he's doing a joke thing with the vision, but I'm telling you, when that episode originally aired, it was so fucking hard to see. You could not see shit,
Right.
bro. It was ridiculous.
And this was reviewed within that time frame, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
It was.
It has to be.
Well, you should note
Immediate
this for the
reaction.
record, where we've seen this
A million times.
10 fucking times, and it's been like 8 years
Yeah.
since this.
I
Like
honestly
six
thought it was
times.
me. I thought it was my TV. That was fucking up. I'm like, oh, everyone else got to see the episode.
bro,
My
that shit
shitty TV
broke
fucked
Twitter,
me.
bro. Everybody was like, "What the fuck, bro?"
Yes, exactly. I went to Twitter after I watched the episode, and that's where I saw like everyone was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Like, it's like a blackout, man. Like it's so hard to fucking see this thing. So yes, this was actually happening back then. If you don't remember, here we go.
certainly, right in the beginning, I expected to be able to see this episode, but I couldn't. Expectations subverted. Well done, Dan and Dave. You got me there. Well, Dan and Dave, Rian Johnson is the happiest guy in the world because now he has...
You call him
company,
Ryan Johnson.
And you can add a couple of more heads to the multi-headed hydra of the franchise apocalypse. Goodbye, Game of Thrones. Now, the biggest problem I had, and I could have forgiven the shaky cam, a bad aesthetic episode. I know many people are calling this a really well-shot, well-directed episode. It was garbage. The editing was terrible. The effects were terrible. There was a couple of good things in it, but overall, you couldn't see what was going on. You couldn't tell who lived or died. And amazingly, pretty much everybody lived. And again, expectations subverted. But
So I agree with that
Okay,
as well.
yeah.
I agree with that as well.
You couldn't see anything.
There's plenty of like cut, like of of supposedly important characters.
They got cheap, bro.
They were cutting through it like crazy, bro. Like a crazy kid with scissors, just like boop, 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 like cut, all over the fucking place. But there were some beautiful shots. Good.
For the first 15 minutes, you didn't know things were being cut because it was too dark to see it in the first place.
You mean when the battle starts? Before the battle starts, it's normal Game of Thrones, and it looks beautiful. And when Melisandre, I think her name, the witch,
Lights the fire.
when
Yeah,
that shit looks cool
yeah,
as fuck.
that shit looks fucking dope.
That looks amazing, and they're riding out with the fire fucking swords, and they're riding out into the fucking woods and shit. That looks
Yeah,
fucking
and they
awesome.
disappear. And
Right.
they disappear, bro. That shit was dope. After that, it went downhill.
Yeah.
The lights slowly flicker
It
out.
it makes me think that they might have had some like CGI flubs to where they needed to hide them, because it wasn't just the darkness. It was also, remember when the Night King was kind of rolling up, and there's this cloud of fucking like smoke or whatever the fuck it, like ice breath or something, is just, it's smogging everything up. Like everything's in a fucking fog, right?
Yeah. Daenerys couldn't see nothing.
Exactly. Towards like, oh, are you guys hiding things?
Yeah.
When I first watched it, I thought that was a part of the show, right? But at this point, I'm looking with hindsight. I'm looking at it like, did you do that to hide like certain CGI effects that you maybe fucked up on, or CGI effects you didn't want to do, thus you hide them in a fog? So, yeah, I agree with him on this. Like, he's nailing it so far, in my opinion. There we go.
Of course, the Night King is dead. Now, I don't have a problem,
Damn, we
like
just went out
anybody
with it.
else, with Arya killing the Night King. I love
Oh, I
Arya as a
definitely had a
character. I love
problem with
Maisie
that.
Williams. I think she's done a brilliant job.
And-
Although I don't know how she killed the Night King or got superpowers fighting another girl with a stick in Bravos. They never really finished her training, and that was the biggest problem with Game of Thrones overall. I was waiting because if we got some good battles, I could have forgiven a lot of stuff. Satisfying. That is a word that has to go with subverting expectations. You
Arya
can still do that, but it has to
being
be
the one who kills the
satisfying.
Night
Of course,
King,
the show
not
was
acceptable.
built.
Say that again.
And him, Arya killing the Night King, not acceptable. And him being okay with that, that's not good.
Under a certain context, it would be Dubster. If
No, it
if it's the
wouldn't.
fact that bro, it's the fact she what? It was her first try, bro, and she killed him.
Yeah.
And there was like it totally deflated the situation
No.
immediately.
No. Let's get past the fact that I'm like, Jon Snow was supposed to be the one that killed him.
I'm with you on that, but
The way Arya
Maybe not for
killed
the
him
same
as
reason.
well is horrible too.
yes, I agree with
Yes,
that.
that's what. Yeah, that's the bigger problem in her it being her. It's the way it
Okay.
happened.
Yes, and also what he's bringing up is an important point as well, which is
The
her.
Bravos.
Yes, her training, as far as her being like some sort of fucking super
It seemed
killer
like
motherfucker.
an abandoned plot line.
Yes, it was like skip past. Like I want to see her beat up more than just what Jodie's Corner called her. He called her like Jodie Foster or something. I don't know why, but they called her Jodie Foster. Her beating up the girl with the bamboo sticks and shit. Like it's got to be more than that as to why she's all of a sudden like the super savage of savages. Right? She She has a 1v1 versus Brienne. Remember I think the episode or
Yeah.
the episode before,
Yeah.
I think. Right? She has a 1v1 with Brienne.
She was like a mini.
Maybe that's season 7.
She was like a
No,
mini
no,
Oberyn, bro.
When did she fight Brienne?
I don't
In
remember
the
that.
practice thing. It's when she shows up in
Well,
Winterfell. No, yeah, that's season 7.
yeah,
Season 7.
So,
She was
So
like
when she gets to
manipulating her
Winterfell-
weight and shit.
when did she get to Winterfell? Fuck. Dude.
Season 7, she gets to Winterfell because remember they
Season
kill
7,
Littlefinger. Remember?
Littlefinger, yeah.
They kill Littlefinger in season 8.
No, season 7.
No, 7.
Season 7. At the end of season 7, they kill Littlefinger.
And that was a shitty death too.
Oh,
It was.
I
it looked
forgave
cool
it
at
for
the
what I'm
time.
looking for.
Yeah, it looked
forgave
cool at the time. Like I was like, oh, it's not the worst. But then it's like, fuck. You hedge bets based on what you think will happen next. And it's like, oh,
Yeah. Well,
this looks worse now because this didn't happen.
yeah. Once again, like retrospective, is like there's a lot of fuck ups, man. And season 7 should be looked at as one of the biggest downfalls, but I think people just skip right to season 8. But
Nah, definitely is. When they started giving you like the
season 7
the
was the
outcomes
biggest
you
downfall
wanted.
until season 8.
So when they started
Yes,
giving you
but
the outcomes you wanted, like in succession, like oh John meets Daenerys, and like oh this happens, that happens, Littlefinger dies, and Bran is like savage, and like all these others, like yeah, like this is fan service, man. Fan service is like somebody said that shit, like nah, like if it pleases the fans, I don't want no part of it. Like it was like a fucking director. He's like
Well,
that's a rolled out sick, that's a rolled out failure, some shit like that.
but to me, him saying Ar- he was okay with Arya, to me tells me he's not paying attention to what he's fucking watching. It was
it would make sense
it
if
was the destiny of Jon Snow,
yeah,
him
right.
being the one that went to the fucking north.
I'm trying to find arguments against that, but I think I agree with Dubster, and I think it's supposed to be John. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
John 1v1ing the Night King. That's what it's supposed to, in my mind, right? But that granted, that would be cliche. That would be a cliche. But I
Right.
would accept it based on the buildup of the characters. I would accept
But
that.
they built it on
Yeah.
the cliche that he is like equivocally King Arthur of this world, the King Arthur and Merlin
Uh,
kind of story.
Let me
Yeah,
ask you.
moving
Let me ask you this,
logic.
Dubster. Let me ask you this. Would you be more upset with what happened, which is Arya sneaking up somehow and then she drops a knife and kills the fucking Night King, or would you be more upset if John 1v1s the Night King and then Arya sneaks up behind him and kills the Night King? Which one would you be more upset
Like
about?
like assist him in the kill,
Like John's fighting him, right? And then like
and
that
he's got him like locked blades, and then she sneaks up and stabs him in the back.
something like that, or maybe the Night King, kicks him and John flies 20 feet because because the Night King's a super fucking being, right? Kicks him fucking 20 feet away, and then Arya sneaks up and fucking stabs him in the back.
I mean, I wouldn't prefer that, but it would be better than what actually happened.
Either
I
way,
think
you
I
think
think you'd be more upset if that happened. I think you
yeah,
might be
No,
more
yeah,
upset if that happened.
no, because
In my opinion.
remember, she came out of nowhere, like from the sky, when there
Yes.
was no building to come from. She had to jump 200 fucking feet off of some roof that was nowhere near, so she gained superpowers to jump at him, and
Well,
then
no,
she
no,
gets
no.
into a little knife scuffle with him, and then drops it into her other hand and stabs him.
But I was like a
And the whole
blah.
and
Good.
like the whole that whole sequence of events of her like finding him and killing, it almost seemed like all right, how the fuck do we fucking put a bow on this plot? Like, it's like in the worst like it's like almost like tone death. It's not even like a competency thing or like a money thing. It's just like super tone. Like yeah, I'm trying to rush through this shit and get out of here and to go do Star Wars. That's how it felt.
Yeah,
How do I end this shit in 6 episodes?
right. See, I didn't know that they were getting ready to get on the Star Wars directing side, but I guess some people knew.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It was kind of
No,
known
I
at the
didn't know.
time.
I didn't know why they were fucking everything up. I just knew they were fucking everything up.
Well, also like so like look at it from in the allocation of resources of the show's runtime. Fucking the first 2 episodes were building up like this joining of the forces to fight to make the stand in Winterfell. And then it's like, all right, so what? Like once you go to episode 3, it's like, well, there's 3 more episodes after this. So like, what? Like it's almost like I don't know. Like how would it continue if he didn't die? If the Night King didn't die in this episode, and how would they resolve the rest of it? So it was almost like that was like a telltale sign that like this shit was about to get like fucking eradicated like swiftly. Because there wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough time to fucking deal with Cersei and all that. Like, and they weren't gonna drag it out. And like, there was no. They should have done that though. They should have fucking. They should have fucking lost. And this guy's like, he's like on their asses, and they gotta like pick the pieces up. That's why I said when they all went down under the fucking dungeons and shit, I'm like, oh no, this is bad. This is the worst sign ever. When like all these like the kids and Sam and
Yeah.
no, Sam was fighting, right? I don't
Sam,
remember
don't
it.
get me started on Sam. Do you remember?
Oh yeah,
Anthony?
this
Do you
episode.
remember the?
Johnson
Do
then.
you remember the rumors that were happening in that little time period where they were like, where there's a rumor that like HBO offered them more money for more episodes, and these fools
And
turned
they
it
said
down.
no. Yeah, I thought that was the actual. I thought that's what actually happened.
That I think that is what actually happened. I'm saying like,
Yeah,
but there was like rumors happening beforehand.
yeah, of course, I knew that. It's like it never made sense. Like 6 episodes. How the but like they were
Hour and a half.
selling.
So I'm like, okay, maybe it's not a big deal.
Yeah, that's what they were selling. It. That was the selling point they gave. Like, no, but we're gonna make them like
Yeah,
motion picture runtimes each episode.
yeah, I got tricked. I got
But
tricked by
then,
it.
and they found a way to make a fucking episode longer without showing you anything.
They tricked me. I'm not gonna lie. They tricked me. They got me.
They tricked everybody,
They
bro.
got me with that shit.
How long did they spend in the library with Arya in this
Oh,
episode?
the zombie thriller
Was
thing they
that eight
did.
minutes?
Like, my
Was that
God.
8 minutes of just dead time?
She kills the Night King, but she's also a scared little girl when there's like a couple, like
Uh,
4 zombies around her.
yeah,
She's freaking out, and 4 or whatever they call it, like whites or White Walkers, whatever, are around her. She's scared as shit. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, she's like wrecking 8 at a time, bro. She's just shitting on
dude, it
people.
didn't
Like, come
make
on,
sense. It didn't make sense, bro. And it's
so
like,
bad,
yo, it's
man.
like one of the most fucking criminal fucking decisions in a work of film ever, bro. That shit they did is criminal, bro. That shit was so epic. That was like the Josh like, oh, is it about the fucking Night King or is it about the fucking crowd? Like, bro, it's not even close, bro. When you see the themes they put around this fucking like this supernatural thing, bro, this unstoppable force. It's like, yo, like that. How was that not more compelling than fucking Cersei being a fucking idiot behind a castle, bro? Like, yes, bro, this is where the fucking energy is at, bro, in the whole show.
Yes,
That's what made Jon Snow so fucking special too, bro. The
yes.
fact that he was the only one that like understood and had a fuck. It seemed like he had an inkling on how to stop him. How to
He
stop him.
was the king of both worlds. The people who
Yes,
believed in the Night King and the people who were just out for political power. He was the actual king of both of those worlds, right? He was the guy acknowledging that the Night King is the biggest threat. But at the same time, his bloodline made him the king of the actual political world. So
and
it's like
he had yeah,
somehow
and he
they
had the
erased him from
wherewithal.
all of it. It's crazy. It's crazy they did that for
Oh,
me.
you talking about John?
Jon Snow. He's right. He paid attention to the Night King and all that shit. That was his biggest like
Yeah,
concern, right? So he's like the guy in that world. But at the same time, his
he
bloodline
is also the
is
guy
also the actual king of their political world.
this
So
time around.
it's like, yo, how do you not have this guy play like that? And like, it's like they wrote him off. In
They
fact,
literally
the
wrote
end
him
of the
off.
show is him like walking off, like going off on a
It's
horse
like,
into the
yo,
beyond the
if
wall.
you bring it back in a new show, you have to bring the fucking White Walkers back, bro. Like you have, but
You can't do
they
that.
gotta come
You
back.
can't. It's further, to quote the code, it's further embarrassing us. Do not let me get caught with that shit, bro. It'll further embarrass us because we're like,
You think
oh,
so?
they brought the White Walkers back. Like I'm already embarrassed now. I'm embarrassed
Oh,
for
word,
giving credence to it, man. For giving attention to it.
bro.
It's
But it's like
embarrassing
a
me.
mistake. You gotta fix. It's like, yo, so what? It's like, what is J.J. Abrams supposed to do when this guy fucks up episode 8?
That's
You gotta
right.
bring Insidious back.
Right. And what is it? It's further embarrassing. It's true, man.
Oh
It's
man,
further embarrassing. JJ had to bring the fucking old characters back, and it's further embarrassing, bro. It is what it
What are you talking?
is. The Last Jedi, where Ryan Johnson like changed the whole logic of what they were doing, and then JJ Abrams was like, "Fuck, I gotta fix this."
I gotta make her Sidious's daughter that he didn't have sex to have.
And now
Yeah,
JJ's embarrassed for what Ryan Johnson did because he tried to he tried to like flow it into something, bro. He tried to make it make sense, and now he looks
yeah, he
extra
had to
embarrassed.
line it up. He had to line it up while also like deterring and fixing shit they didn't want from Ryan Johnson's movie. Like,
Uh,
oh, this guy killed Snoke, so they had to fix that shit. I got 1,000 Snokes.
it's Snoke's just a clone. He's nothing. Yeah, embarrassing. All right, let's play more of those.
The stuff. Satisfying. That is a word that has to go with subverting expectations. You can still do that, but it has to be satisfying. Of course, this show was
Agreed.
built on that. A Song of Ice and Fire was built on that. You killed
I know
your
nothing
main
about the
character
books.
and your
I
main
only watched the
villain
show.
before the first season ended, and it still kept people engaged because in the first 4 seasons, Dan and Dave did a brilliant job adapting the book. But then it went off a cliff. And of course, George R. R. Martin didn't finish A Wind's a Winner in time, and they were relying on that. And I've been talking about this in these videos, and it is obvious.
But they did 5
they
and
He's
either
6,
big
right?
on
weren't up
that
to the
shit.
task or just weren't.
Can
But
you pause that real quick? He's big on that shit. He's like, oh, like they're culpable, but they did have a guideline, and then once they had to start riffing shit, that's when it got bad.
Oh,
No, they
boo
did.
hoo,
They
boo
5
fucking
and 6.
who.
They did
That's what
fine.
that's his fault. That's this guy's fucking logic.
Boo fucking who, man. They did season 5 and 6, right? Without his books, right? Or
Yeah.
But
maybe it was just season 6. They did one of the good seasons. They did it without the fucking books.
I don't know. I don't know enough to say one way or the other.
He doesn't like season 5 and 6.
Guaranteed season 6
No, but you
was
could tell, Dubster. Even Jordan would agree. Season 1 to 4 is is a constant progression of like a
yes,
very like neatly packed, cohesive story.
yes. But
And
then
then like
Dude, I love
5 and 6
season.
are fine. 5 and 6 are they're fucking they're still solid. But then after 6, it's like yeah, this show is fucking going downhill.
they're not
Actual.
as intricate 5 and 6, but I still adore them. I think they're really good still. It's just
Yeah.
they went with like a John prophecy type thing, right? Which is he's like the
Yeah,
chosen one type of
I
thing.
love that. Yeah, I
It's
was
beautiful.
John was carrying the show, bro, for real. And then that's why when episode 3 happened, that was terrible. Even 7 too, like him kneeling, all that shit. Like, bro, like what's going
7
on?
is just it's a rush. I understood 7 too when I first watched it. I'm like, okay, they're just rushing to get to season 8. But then when you
Yeah,
get to
but
season 8, it's like you look
yeah,
back, you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck were you doing then?
yeah,
Because you could have did an actual build up for these things that I wrote off. I wrote off them speeding through it because I'm like, okay, fuck it, it's your last season. You're trying to get to season 8 and then do something with that. But when you watch season 8, it's like, no, okay, what the fuck were you doing then? Back in
yeah.
season 7. So yeah, it's a mess, and I can't. As much I understand people bringing up George R. R. Martin and saying about like his
No,
story and
it's
his
a
books and
bad
stuff. I
excuse. Yeah.
understand that. I understand it. But at the same time, it's like these are supposed to be writers. It doesn't matter if there's a source reference or not. Either way, you're still twisting it for your show. So whatever George R. R. Martin made in the books that you're following, you still
You're
picked
not
out you
following.
still picked out things you wanted or didn't want in your show, which means you're still
Your
writing it.
your
That-
TV show, not that book. They are completely different things.
Yeah,
So
they should
there-
be. Yes,
No excuse.
I agree. No excuses for that. But I mean, I understand it. I understand where people are arguing that, but at the same time, it's like, come on, you guys are adults. You're supposed to be competent writers, bro. You wrote like you took an adaptation and you wrote something into a TV show format, which means you know the characters, you know what you're working with. So how the fuck is this going to be that difficult for you? Do you really need George R. R. Martin to not speed through season 7 and all the storylines there? Like, do you really need a bigger overall writer to make you not speed through the fucking stories. Like, come on, that's bullshit. They sped through for their
You're
own
not-
personal interests, in my opinion. Man.
Yeah.
That's the case that you're not a writer.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, okay, you're not a writer. You're something else. I almost said plagiarist, but I don't think that would fit for this. All right, there we go.
Into it anymore. I don't know. I don't care. What I feel like is a sucker. And before I even go on, I need to apologize. I need to apologize to anyone I recommended this show to. I am sorry. I truly am. I'm sorry I wasted your time because I feel like I wasted my time. And for those of you who said all along this show was
you're not
going
missing out.
nowhere, I don't know why you're wasting your time with it. You were right.
Dubster, leave
I was
and
wrong.
enter
You were
back in
right.
the call.
Despite
Your
Arya
audio's
narrowly
kind of fucked
defeating
right
the
now.
waif in Bravos with a stick and then going on to
I'll pause
kill all the men.
Can you hear me, Dubster? Yeah. All right. There you go.
What happened?
His audio is like really scratchy.
Oh,
Say something. Dubster?
Hello?
There you
yeah,
go.
you're good.
Okay, now you're good.
All right.
Yeah, it's. Okay, I'll back
Yeah,
up.
him saying that he doesn't recommend it to anybody. I was right there with him when that night of this episode. It's just like, motherfucker, dude. Like 3 more episodes.
At this point, yeah,
I
but before
gotta watch it. I gotta watch it.
yeah, that's
And I don't want to tell anybody.
well, that's my. I would disagree with him because it's like, my God, those early seasons and episodes are so fucking good. To where it's like it's worth it. Actually, it's actually worth it. We were rewatching them right recently.
I was seriously thinking about signing that fucking letter that 10,000 people signed.
Oh, to redo it or erase it from history and redo it.
I wish.
A
I wish we
petition.
could do that. I wish.
Yeah.
It's too late, man. It's too
I
it's too
know it's
canon
good.
already, man. It's
No, I
canon.
just what's me signing a letter gonna do? They're not doing it.
Either way, it's like you can't erase that from your mind. I know people want to try to. You can't erase it from your mind.
Yeah.
You already saw it, so you might as well move on and let someone write over it. Someone retcon the shit out of it to make it better, which would be like a new Jon Snow show, right? Which I think is in the works. I think people are looking.
It's in the
forward to.
works, but it's not gonna do anything.
It could, man. It could.
No.
How,
It
how
kinda.
could
No.
it? How could it?
Because
There's no
the-
fucking way, dude.
What would you need to see to fix it?
it wouldn't fix it. That's a strong word. At the very least, John would probably be in a place where we thought we were going to see
What's
him
he
at.
supposed to do at this point? Kill his own brother or kill his sister and take
Maybe-
over
maybe he
Winterfell or the
dies.
entire
Maybe
kingdom?
he dies. Maybe Bran dies on his own.
Dude, why are you making this difficult for me? I just wanted something simple. give me John on the fucking throne. That's all I'm asking for. Okay.
Right?
Well, it's like what else? What could he
He's
do?
got to
He
take
has
his
to make a
brother
new
and his
threat.
sister out. That's where we're at this point. How's he gonna fix this again? He's got to turn evil and take out his brother or his sister.
You'd have to make up a new threat, and then John comes and saves
Dude,
it. Then here's
it's
some
like-
shit, which would be
Dude,
tacky.
it's like, yo, they sent him to the wall.
Yeah.
How could they not fucking go back to that well?
And they got nothing for this. It is what it is. They got nothing for this.
Well, I bet you this though. Drogon will come to Jon Snow. That's what's gonna happen. I don't know
for what
the rest
would it
is.
matter?
Well, it's because he's Targaryen blood. The
It's like,
dragon
bro,
will
I
come
don't
to
know.
him.
What does Targaryen blood mean now? Doesn't mean anything.
It's like Jordan, they're gonna contract you, yo. What idea would you have?
For me, I erase everything that happened. But that's I'll do the stupid
no,
risk of
to
doing
make the
that.
Jon Snow
So with what happened?
Band-Aid.
Well, yeah, okay, like yeah. If you had to put a band-aid, So what happened, and then you're gonna make a Jon Snow show. What would you do in a Jon Snow show?
Oh God.
Realistically, if you were like your hands were tied, you can't erase it, but you can only go forward from here.
Oh God. Uh, like
It's
Jesus
hard, bro.
Christ.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
The
that
season
is
was a dream.
fucking hard. No, I thought of that, Jesse. I'm not going there. Like it's like
What do
someone
you
gets
say,
That's
pinched and
Jesse?
definitely
they
a joke.
someone gets pinched and
Just
they
joke.
wake up. They wake up it's like, oh, none of that happened yet. We're still in Winterfell right before the Night King
Like Final
attacks.
Destination,
Yeah, I was thinking of that
a
too.
premonition.
Hey, but that'd be so bad. That'd be the Uber version of
Right?
fucking
Yeah, that'd be like a
embarrassing.
riot, bro.
What happens in Bran's head? He just has premonitions. Everything.
No, he has past premonitions, or he has post emissions, whatever. I don't know. But fuck, what would I do with that? That's so rough, man. I'd have to retcon everything. I'd actually have to. But it's kind of hard when you eliminate the biggest threat in the entire world, which is the Night King. And then the second,
now the
the second,
Bran
the
is the
second
biggest
biggest threat. Well, that'd be one thing, but that'd be horrible, right? If you made Bran a villain, that'd be a horrible way to do that. So it's like, fuck, what do you do with that?
Could you bring the walkers back through Bran
No.
and the first children? Or
Can you imagine that? Like,
you know what?
If they go with the Lorg people, you know, the people that like know the books and shit, they believe that Bran is historically Bran the Builder, and he learned how to travel time. So Bran of current day King's Landing king just goes back in time, so there's no king. Maybe they could do something like that.
no. It would if they're gonna go full tacky, it'd be in the direction Anthony just said, where like, remember when Bran gets touched by the Night King in his vision,
Yes.
and then they're like, oh, he actually left a mark there,
Bars.
like you're actually like you're possessed by like that magic or whatever.
Yes.
And they show a scene where Bran's eyes turn blue and shit. Like, oh fuck, the Night King actually won. He didn't just like it was part of his plan to die to Arya to make it look like he was gone, but actually he's still here. He's still here in Bran, and now he's the king. It's like that'd be tacky and stupid, but I think a lot of fans would actually accept it in order to erase whatever happened. I don't know.
I can't wait till this shit's out because fuck it.
Well, it'd have to
Well,
be okay. If I was gonna fix, if I was gonna retcon in order to make people who hated season 8 satisfied, I'd House of Dragon it, because it'd be Jon beyond the wall, right? And then we flash forward to where he's an old man and he has kids and shit. And one of the kids are like, right, they have Targaryen blood now. So they're one of the chosen ones. And whatever, Bran dies or something. There's some fucking asshole living in Westeros they're quietly trying to overthrow the fucking throne and shit. And then one of Jon's kids goes in there and starts fucking shit up and winning and all that stuff. And then Bran's at the last scene. Bran's like, "Huh, I've been waiting for you the whole time. You were the one to actually be the true king, not me." It's like that's.
I know who they.
That's all.
I know who, for your idea. I would add on. What's the cousin that's under Blackfish?
Tully's?
Yeah, make him the bad guy just
No.
because he's retarded. No, like his kid.
No.
His bloodline's the revolting.
He's supposed to be comic relief. Leave him as comic relief. Leave him as
No, that would be the bad guy that's revolting against the throne.
It'd have to be the houses, the main houses that are like, he can't father any children. Why the fuck is he the ruler? And then they try to overthrow him, and Bran's magic fails him somehow, or something like that.
But even in House of
His magic
Dragons
spells.
Fast Forward, it took the whole time for the king to die.
That's a separate issue. Steve, that's a separate issue with him. His pair of his lips on a pillow. Like, oh, I'm still alive. I'm still the king. His fucking body parts just laying on a bed and shit. All right, we're 3 minutes in. Let's.
Wasting your time with it. You were right. I was wrong. You were right. Despite Arya narrowly defeating the waif in Bravos with a stick and then going on to kill all the men in House Frey and then going on to kill the Night King, I
The House
could have
Frey thing
forgiven
made
that.
sense, though.
Despite
He's
it
bullshitting
being a
on that. That
horribly
made sense.
directed episode, horribly edited, and again, those special effects were awful. I could have forgiven that if we got resolution. I could have even forgiven the Night King being dispatched in one episode after 8 seasons of buildup. If they had paid off some of the stuff that they set up in the narrative, but they have just let everything go and they just concentrated on the spectacle, and that is a trope, and it goes against.
Now, the thing that worries me with this guy is that he's. Yes, I get John being the guy, and I thought that was narrative-wise, like the thing. But once again, retroactively looking at, or what's the word? Hindsight, looking at this guy, and also Game of Thrones, like looking at this guy, it's like, oh, did you need it to be the strong male character for that to be like a thing? I have to look at that now instead of just taking it as like a Game of Thrones fan who saw some bullshit. I have to consider it now. Unfortunately for fuckface here, but it is what it is. There we go.
Everything the source material was about. Certainly, again, it was about subverting expectations.
Fuck
with
source
the
material,
characters,
make it
but the
good.
overall
Who
themes,
cares?
the overall story still has good versus evil. It's just a lot grayer in Game of Thrones, and the people who are good and the people who are evil change sometimes, but it's always not what you expected, at least in the books, no longer in the show. Everybody, or most everybody, survives this episode, and there was no shocking deaths. Jorah died. Ed died. Beric Dondarrion, now known as the Barricade, died. Melisandre just walked off and died. And why was she there anyway? She was there to basically light a cigarette and give somebody a pep talk. But so many characters were left without resolution or a
Point of
payoff.
view on that?
The big
All
payoff
right,
we
I
were
don't
supposed to get with
agree.
Jon fighting the Night King. Well, they had a little bit of a skirmish on the
It was
dragons,
her
but that was it.
purpose.
Yeah, well, it was stated
But
way before. My God.
but once again, they even fucked that up for her.
I think so. Well, it was weird because she lit the fucking swords, right? In all confidence. She lit the fucking swords up, but then when she had to light up the fucking like barriers, she was like
This is-
struggling. Like the spikes in the trenches fucking thing. That thing, like wherever they were, like the wooden spikes, right, that keep the fucking motherfuckers out. She needed to light it on fire. She was like unconfident there. So I'm like, I don't know. I just thought that was weird, but it's minor, super minor compared to the other shit in the show.
Well, no. Also, her saying, "I'll be dead by the morning." Well, your prediction isn't a prediction if you mean in the morning I'll commit suicide. That was lame.
Okay. Fair enough. It's like we all have to die in this country. Just like I have to die in this horrid country, just like you. And she's talking to Varys, right?
And
What episode was that?
She
in?
got no in this episode at the beginning. She said to Dave. Is it Davos, the Onion King, the Onion Knight?
Yeah, Davos.
Davos. So she said to him, "Don't worry, but you don't need to kill me. By the morning, I'll be dead."
Yeah, but before that, she's talking to Varys.
Before that, she was talking to somebody else saying we all have to die here. Yeah.
She's talking to Varys, and she's like, "I have to die in this sad country, just like you." And I guess that was a like heads up for a bookmark for them to be like, okay, so we have to kill her now. We have to kill her at some point, and then make sure Varys dies too. At a certain point, I don't know.
Jorah Mormont and Theon Greyjoy's deaths. Did he say Theon right then? I think he skipped Theon's death in that list he just made.
That's
But so many characters were left without resolution or a payoff. The big payoff we were supposed to get with Jon fighting the Night King. Well, they had a little bit of a skirmish on the dragons, but that was it. Jon ends up getting pinned down by a dragon and screaming at it. Bran flies off and does birdie stuff, doesn't warg into anything else. He could have warged into multiple animals, got the animals of the forest to go fight the dead. That would have been cool, but of course HBO obviously didn't have the budget for that. Now it looks like they spent a lot of money. I'm really not sure on what. They definitely didn't spend any money on lighting. So all the prophecies, Azor Ahai, Quaithe, the Warlocks, nothing meant anything. Dany didn't mean anything. She pelted the Night King with some fire. We got a good Dracarys thing, and the Night King just smirked. But all the Night King did was walk around, and when he got killed, he was surrounded by generals, and Arya came out of nowhere. She has had no experience with the dead, no buildup, no connection, and that's why it felt hollow. It felt like a decision that was made.
He is basing that on the logic of the show.
Sounds like that.
He's basing that on the logic of the show, because the show, as far as Arya's dialogue, she asked like what do they like? What do they smell like? What do they move? How do they move? Like she's asking what's his name? Robert's bastard.
No. Yeah.
What's his
Gendry.
name? Gendry.
Gendry, yeah.
Gendry. She's asking Gendry, like, because Gendry went beyond the wall with them to find one of the dumbest plans ever for season 7.
Yeah, that was dumb, man.
Where they went to capture a white walker, whatever they're called, and then bring it to Cersei as proof. Gendry was one of them. And she's like, "How do they move? What do they do? Like, give me a scouting report on these motherfuckers." So,
think about that though. She had to ask, but they traveled to their enemy, told them all this, but didn't tell their own army what to do, like, and what was the enemy like. She had to ask one of them.
well, I mean,
there should have been. I would have been a little better off if there was like a training montage for the army, like them getting ready for their final battle.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it was all off-screen shit.
I know, but
it's kind of assumed.
Think about the mentality of that.
Yeah. Off-screen bullshit. Got it. All right, here we go.
Experience with the dead, no buildup, no connection, and that's why it felt hollow. It felt like a decision that was made to satisfy people on Twitter, and it sounds like that's what they did. Dan and Dave said this was a decision made some time ago just because they wanted to, subvert our expectations. Well, they are subverted, and now you have split the fan base. Of course, there's a lot of people out there who enjoy this episode, and if you do, this is no judgment on you. You are a fan.
For me, it's a judgment.
No matter what, but we can just disagree on this one.
No, we won't be nice with each other. We'll argue.
For a long time. I am a huge fan of the books.
We'll point at you and laugh.
Does nothing
Josh.
for me because it lost the spirit of the books. And yes, this might be the ending that George told Dan and Dave, but imagine if George Lucas quit Star Wars and told somebody the ending said, hey, the Emperor is going to get betrayed by Darth Vader and he's going to end up killing the Emperor to save Luke. But George doesn't tell him anything else. Do you think we'll get the same ending? No, you don't get the same ending. You know the act of Darth Vader killing the Emperor, but if they don't mention, that Darth Vader is Luke's father, then we don't get the same ending. And certainly that's what's going to happen here. George is famous for
you can't blame George R. R. Martin for giving the writing to someone like.
Well, Dondarrion is
you blame him for giving his work over.
Barricade. We don't get any
but
resolution with him.
at the same time, for bad writing, you can't blame someone else for bad writing by other people.
Completely OP in
It
this
is what it is.
episode. And while I do love her, it was a bit ridiculous. They even bumped her head and said she was depowered at some point, but she still managed to kill the Night King. The Night King was just an ice cube, and she was an ice pick. Not very threatening. And if you look at a map of Westeros, the Night King didn't even get that far. So 8 seasons of buildup for him to take, what, Castle Black, who had about 30 people left, and he didn't even end up getting all of them. Then he took out the Umber clan, which was decimated by Jon Snow and led by an 8-year-old, and then he couldn't even get past Winterfell. Lame of Thrones. I've gotten a lot of clapback on this, more than Captain Marvel, more than Star Trek
I
Discovery,
don't.
more than Doctor Who. And by the way, I just want to mention, as bad as
I was
Game of
okay
Thrones
with
was,
it being
was not
Winterfell
as
where it
bad as
happened.
Star Trek Discovery. But this quote was thrown at me by a very good person on Twitter, so I'm not going to show the tweet. Lannister, Targaryen, Baratheon,
What?
Stark, Tyrell. They're all just spokes on the wheel. This one's on top, and then that one's on top, and on it spins, crushing those on the ground. I'm not just
Wait,
going
go
to
back.
stop the wheel.
Go back.
I'm going to break the wheel. And
What do you need to say?
Less 20 seconds.
No, why?
Because what's he talking about? What's he going about on the wheel?
He said
right
someone
here?
on Twitter said this to him, and he's not going to say their names. He's going to quote them, and what he's quoting is Daenerys. This is what Daenerys said.
Yeah.
He's quoting Daenerys in the show.
Okay.
I'll play it for you. Here you go.
Discovery more than Doctor Who. And by the way, I just want to mention, as bad as Game of Thrones was, it was not as bad as Star Trek Discovery. But this quote was thrown at me by a very good person on Twitter, so I'm not going to show the tweet. Lannister, Targaryen, Baratheon, Stark, Tyrell. They're all just spokes on the wheel. This one's on top, and then that one's on top, and on it spins, crushing those on the ground. I'm not just going to stop the wheel. I'm going to break the wheel. And that's what was thrown at me about the Night King. The Night King was not about the Game of Thrones. Well, yes, this show is called Game of Thrones. But
Change
that
it,
is the
God
title
said.
of the first book. It is based on A Song of Ice and Fire. You were talking about bringing the realm together, breaking the wheel, making a new system, but you'd have to do that by bringing the entire realm together. What's the best way to do that? Yeah, it's a trope. You have one big threat. While everybody is politicking and fighting,
Yeah.
this big threat comes down and gets everybody to band together. Everybody who's
Ronald
left.
Reagan and
The
aliens.
reason
Got it.
people are so disappointed in the Night King's early demise is because he really didn't take over the realm. He didn't get far at all. It would have been epic, even if it was in one episode, to show the fight going all over Westeros, so everybody saw the true threat of the dead. Now, none of these houses are going to believe any of these people. They're going to think it's more northern stories. Now, there is one way they can make up for this. There is one way they can completely subvert my expectations, and I would even go so far as to take these videos down if they did this. If they bring back the Night King at the end, if he comes out of nowhere, he's able to reform or
It's
some
like-
crap like that.
You want
And
magic
To
at this
quote the
point.
code, we are further embarrassing
Dead
ourselves.
running through
We're embarrassing
Westeros
ourselves.
during the day, so we can actually see the battle. That would be
Okay.
the one way that would
He's
bring me back
ridiculous
to
right
this
here,
show.
I
But
get it.
otherwise, I'm just gonna finish it out to finish it out. And yeah, I'm disappointed. I'll get over it. I've wasted my time on other stuff before, but I certainly will not be watching this show again. And
That's a lie. You're watching.
You watched House of Dragons?
Yeah, you watched
Yeah,
House of
I
Dragons.
loved
That's a lie.
Yeah, he proved it was a lie.
And he loved it till episode 9. Episode 9 was the one that fucked him up.
One of the later episodes. He all of a sudden there was so much trash before that he skipped past. Apparently, him and Mahler, the OCD, I guess, critic of Game of Thrones, somehow missed out on all the fucking flubs of House of the Dragon. Whatever.
All of it. All of it.
It,
Season 5 or episode 5. He missed that. He entirely missed
I've
that.
heard enough from this guy to where it's like, okay, you're a normie, man. You're like either like you're being a nice guy or you're not a critic like that. You're not like that. So I get it. Like I'm not gonna. I actually see room for empathy for this guy, even though I'm gonna wreck his shit. Like when I hear him talk about certain things, I think he's an idiot on them. But he's like kind of like just a normie watching movies, which is why he should be nowhere near making or directing or writing or fucking movies and shit like that. in my opinion, in my humble
Need a
opinion.
review. As a reviewer, he's missing, dude. Though,
Yes,
like,
that's part of it, but I think he's just a normal guy doing it. In my like, from what I'm hearing here, like, oh, you're some normie dipshit. That's when you get locked into culture
you're
war
being
shit.
t-
You're
you're
just
being
being a
too
dipshit.
generous for episode 5 of House of Dragons on him.
No, it's
You
culture
remember
war dipshit.
watching? You remember watching his review on episode 5 of House of Dragons?
Yes, it's fucking culture warrior dipshittery.
No, beyond that, he was okay with the fucking magic horse. He was okay with
Why was he okay with it?
Cole. He was okay with Cole just rampaging through the wedding. He was all right with all that stupid shit.
He was okay with it because as long as the was it Rings of Power suffered, and he's like, yo, I'm winning. As long as that show fucking suffers, I'm winning. That's why
Oh,
he's
the
just
Lord of Rings
yes,
thing.
yes, because they
Okay,
were kind of like they're kind of in
at the
battle
same
with each
time,
other. Yeah, for primetime views. Yeah, they're in battle with
and
each other.
he picked a side instead of being a reviewer.
Yes, which makes him a fucking idiot, a legit idiot. But at the same time, I don't. It's like why like would he do that today? Would he hide someone's tweet if they said something that he would consider idiotic? Would he hide? Would he
Real
hide? Would he
question.
hide their name? Be like, oh,
Here's the
some
real
person I won't
question.
name said this.
Here's the real question. Did this dumbass think that the people who made the Lord of the Rings prequel and the people that made Game of Thrones prequel were actually competing against each other, or they just released it at the same time? Do you think they're making $60 million bets? Like, what the? You're an idiot if you're comparing them like they're comparable.
I'll say this: if you're a businessman, it's a win-win situation because you get people to show up on Friday, which was the Rings of Power show, the Lord of the Rings show, right? And you get people showing up on Sunday, which is the House of Dragon time slot. So like you get them both showing up to compare the shows to each other. Whether it's
Which is,
good
dude,
whether it's good or bad, you end up showing up for it.
they're two different worlds. They're not comparable.
I think they're
That's the
both ass
first.
cheeks. I think they're both terrible.
Oh,
And
no,
that's the
no,
thing.
no.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is, he was literally like looking at it like it was UFC versus boxing. Well, they're both on the weekends, so therefore they mean to be comparing to each other. No, they did not make these two different shows to compete against each other. Like, that was not the purpose.
Yes, they did. I disagree with you, Dumpster. Yes, they did.
Yeah, I disagree
No,
with
they
that.
didn't.
The companies made these shows to compete with each other. 100%. Yes, they did. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. I don't know for sure, but I guarantee they made them to compete
Well,
with each
then
other.
they're morons too. Then, if that's true, then they're morons too.
Well, they both win because they get
No,
comparisons.
no, that's moron that's betting at a stupidity level.
Yeah, but okay, look at this dude, right? Guess what? He watched both shows.
So did I.
As much as he praises one and shits on the other, he still watched them both. Like officially watched them both.
Yeah,
Like
so did we.
a little different, but I'm saying statistically wise, as far as the bankroll of Amazon and the bankroll of HBO, they fucking paid and watched for both of them, bro. That means they both won. We're getting you to compare this show with the other show. Thus, you're watching both of them. Thus, you're giving us clicks, views, Prime subscriptions, HBO Max subscriptions, whatever. We're winning. That's what this guy like. He played a role in that. 100%.
One was piss off more people because both of them sucked in
They
just
both did
different
suck.
ways.
Yes, they both sucked in different ways.
So if that was their mentality, I got a budget of blah, and I'm betting like I'm gonna release this the same time as this guy, and we're gonna have them like compete, and then they both suck, then you're both morons and you made a bad bet with a bad mentality. Why did you make this a competition versus making it a wonderful story that each one of them could have been? What are you doing, you fucking morons, at
Well,
that level?
that's expediency of like you gotta separate it then, because they're not the boards at these companies are not culture warriors, man. They're not like I don't think they're like that at all.
No,
It's
but there's something around the realm of this political shit. Both of them are.
sure, yes, but
They're
that's
doing this
just
shit to like engineer society kind of shit. They're implementing that into their movies. Yeah, they're playing that game. It's stupid.
I agree, it's stupid, but I think that's yes, I think that's fucking a part of it. Maybe not as big of a scope as these guys like Nerdrotic put a megaphone on it to where now it's something else. It's even bigger than uh, it's even bigger than it's even supposed to be. It's not a big deal that a girl beats up a goblin in Lord of the Rings, but they made it a big deal, right? And in fact, they made House of the Dragon a big like as far as their culture and their base of audience. They made House of the Dragon bigger than it actually is, as far as like quality wise. They made it bigger than it was because they compared it to the other fucking show, Rings of Power or whatever. And it's like, if that's the way you watch movies and TV, like I feel fucking bad for you. At the same time,
Well,
I'm entertained by watching it. I'm entertained by
well,
like watching these fools
okay.
trip over themselves over it.
No, so if you take it back to the directors of these things, Lord of the Rings prequel, House of Dragons prequel,
Yeah,
they're also doing this shit blind to what the other one's doing, right?
they should be,
Because
but they
they
they they know when projects are coming out at the very
Amazon
least.
and Amazon and HBO should not be having leaks to their competitors what's coming up in the next episode of
No,
what
no,
they're
no, no.
doing,
It's not
right?
the episodes. It's that they know the show's coming out.
No, but the I'm gonna put these kind of social things in here, and I'm gonna put these kind of social things in this one. They should know what the other one's doing.
No, not
So
really.
why even play these games?
No, they wouldn't know. But if you bring up a genre like Game of Thrones, like the genre Game of Thrones is in, what would actually be the counter to that? Might actually be Lord of the Rings, man, as like a counter to Game of Thrones as far as like the genre of it, right? Do you agree with that? You have to agree with that.
No, no, no. I'm talking about is HBO and Amazon are playing this betting game, and they're like, how much like political shit in the current time with the current kind of shit am I gonna put in here and risk my huge investment called a movie, and I'm gonna time it out with this other movie that's gonna be they're gonna do it too. I know they're gonna do something along those lines. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna bet on my
Ha-
viewership to get my return on value, get paid for the movie, and make profits from the movie. And I'm gonna risk it for competition.
How much did Grey's Anatomy do with like a show like House? They're both doctor shows, right?
I never watched Grey's Anatomy House One, if that's the case.
They're on different networks, right? But they're both about doctors taking weird cases and they're this whole soap opera drama shit.
Were they the same time?
I don't think they're maybe. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think so. But either way, like they're around the same thing, around the same time period, combating with each other.
are they?
Yeah,
I
like, dude.
never watched
Sometimes
Grey's
UFC and boxing are at the same time. Like, what do you pick? These things happen, man. And in fact, they end up building each other up based off the competition. Right?
Nah, see, I get the boxing and UFC's doing that currently in our face right now, so that's kind of, but and there's little different aspects to that because it's still fighting, but it's the way they're rigging it and shit that's the the bet they're taking. How far can we rig these things?
Bro, there's no rigging in combat sports. How dare you? That has never happened
Oh,
ever in combat
excuse me.
sports. There's never been a rigging.
Excuse me.
These judges are the most official of official motherfuckers, man. There's never been rigging in combat sports ever. How dare you? That's an insult to the integrity of combat sports stuff, sir. How fucking dare you?
And
bro?
I gotta tell you something. Slap Fight is got a season
Shut
2.
the fuck up.
And there's a video game.
Wait. No, there isn't.
There's Slap Fight season 2, and there's now a video game that's coming out for it too.
No, there isn't. Stop it.
Yeah, I'm telling you 100% true.
You're trolling. Yeah, you're trolling.
No,
Stop it.
I don't know where they're gonna air it, but I saw the
Power
commercial
Slap
for Slap
League
Fight.
to debut new. It's a mobile game, but it's still a game. Okay. It's a mobile game.
Oh, okay. But yeah, there's a season 2 coming out.
Of course there is. Oh god. All right, let's finish this fucking thing out. So I'm kind of with Nerdrotic so far. There are some things I'd be, but for the meat and potatoes of it, I think I agree with him.
I'd much rather have a trope than a red herring, and that's all the Night King ended up being. He is the iconic image of Game of Thrones now. It used to be the throne, but now it's the Night King. It's not Cersei. So the show that started out subverting expectations, well, a good example of this, Rob's plan to go take Castle Rock being thwarted by the Red Wedding. Now it is just red herrings and tropes. And the current trope that is looked at as subverting expectations is girl power. The Northern Lords are a great example.
Whoa,
They were
girl
represented
power.
by Lady Karstark, who was helping Theon defend Bran, and little she-bear Mormont, who slayed a giant right before she was crushed to death. And of course there's Sansa. Where the hell is Wyman Manderley? Where the hell is Howland Reed? Where was Lord Royce? And all the things they've left undone that we're never going to find out about. Why did the Night King show up thousands of years later at this time? No explanation whatsoever. What about the spirals? Well, they explained the Night King always using the spirals was some sort of blasphemy, but it was the creators that had to say that in an interview. They didn't tell us within the show. What about Quaithe? What about the Warlocks? They were after Dany. We just completely forgot about that. What about Varys? What was the voice that he heard in the flame that he lost his Johnson for? Jojen Reed, Hodor, Summer, the three-eyed raven, the children of the forest, sacrificed so Bran could warg into some birdies. But thank God we got time for Arya side boob. Oh yeah. So the fact that there's no Night King in the books
Okay, so he's talking
tells
about
you
more
that
than
the show
episode
will
3.
not end like that. So book fans, don't get too discouraged. But Cersei, the trope of girl power is the reason they made the decision to make Cersei the big bad with the Mountain and Qyburn and Bronn and the Golden Company.
See, this is him, like, he's showing his true colors right now.
He's blowing up.
He's saying because it's a girl, that's the reason why Cersei remained alive.
Girl power.
How do you get
Said
that?
girl power.
Girl power. Okay, but his guy John is the one who ends up killing the ultimate girl, right? Daenerys?
But girl power was
If he's saying Cersei is girl power, Daenerys wipes out Cersei. John kills Daenerys. So, is that girl power?
but remember he has at the time in this he hasn't seen
Yeah, exactly,
the
but he's
last
still
3
wrong
episodes.
anyways. That's the thing about it, he's still wrong anyways.
Hmm.
So why would he bring that up? Maybe he's guessing, but he's saying it as like he's affirming it. Like that's the truth. Maybe he has a narrative that he's really like into. Maybe. I don't know.
All right.
Here we go.
That nobody really cares about. There's nothing invested in this at all. And what's going to happen is all of our favorite characters who survive the Army of the Dead are going to go down to King's Landing, make a bunch of dumb decisions, and die. So basically, they defeated Satan, and we're supposed to care who is elected president afterwards.
Who
I'm
dies?
just not into the politicking at that point.
Mel-
I, as a viewer,
Melisandre-
have seen the Army of the Dead
Melisandre?
and thought they were the biggest threat, and now I'm
Episode
told
4, yeah.
they weren't. That the Golden Company and a big bow and arrow and an angry,
Who else
vengeful
dies?
soccer mom is going to take out Jon Snow and Daenerys and her
Jaime
dragons, and certainly one of
Cersei.
them will probably end up dying, and it'll certainly be very disappointing. Now, I will
I respect the actual reaction to it, but he's wrong at the end of the day. He's wrong. But whatever.
stick through this till the end, like I've said before. And if they come up with this great ending, I will apologize. I will say, hey, I should have waited, and that was amazing. I have no problem saying that at all. But given season 7, given what has happened so far, why should I believe
gotta
any
watch the
different
rest of these
than
at some
it's
point.
going to be
The last three.
very long, slow,
4, 5, 6.
Oh,
We're gonna get
damn.
another episode of build up for another battle. We'll get a skirmish. At least it'll be in the daytime this time, and then they'll be mopping it up with the 2 or 3 characters that are left. And I guarantee that they're probably gonna kill Tyrion in some ridiculously dumb way.
Tyrion?
That's wrong.
The show that wants to subvert expectations wants to use wildfire for a 3rd time, and my money is on Arya using Jaime's face to kill Cersei, so we could literally
That's
get
also
a
wrong.
Slay Queen, and of course,
So he predicted SJW narratives back then with us. He was wrong about them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Night King is yet
This is what,
another
2011?
shaggy dog. And how should I be surprised from the same show that
No.
made
What
Shaggy
year was
Dog
Season 8
a
came out in
Shaggy
like
Dog story?
2000
Shaggy Dog Story, a long, rambling
15
story
or 16?
joke, typically
No, not
one
14.
that is amusing only because it is absurdly inconsequential
17
or
even?
pointless. So
No.
yes, consider my
It's 10 years ago by now, man.
subverted. That is a term for hacks. All right, I'm moving on. No more videos on this episode, so we can agree to disagree if you
Damn, you
like
got-
this episode.
Got Patreons too? Goddamn. Winning. Hashtag winning. This is 4 years ago, so 2019. Okay. Yeah, 4 years ago.
So right before I start talking to you guys.
So he's making me think that he's only upset because it was a girl that killed the Night King, instead of like the actual storyline narratives that are in my opinion terrible, which discredits him from the, like after he says shit like that. It discredits him.
No. He said he was okay with her killing the Night King. He was talking about his prediction of Arya killing Cersei. He was going to have a problem with
Which is based on what?
that. She's a girl,
Yeah,
which is weird.
yeah, that would
It's
be
confusing. It's confusing. He's okay with Arya killing the Night King. She's a girl in that one, but his prediction of Arya killing Cersei because she's a girl is not okay. What?
I wonder if he's going with the, hey man, I'm not sexist type of thing. I don't think he's sexist at all, or I don't even believe in the fucking word, to be honest with you. But I don't think he's like that exactly. I think he is trying to be like that, but he's not actually like that. And it ends up like peeking through his fucking narratives. You can end up seeing like hints of it through his fucking narrative. Like you're trying to be some weirdo instead of just judging something on its own merits. You're judging actually judging something based on whether a girl or someone else, some sort of minority group, does something. It's like, bro, it's such a boring way to watch. Like, this shit was actually an extravaganza of fun. If you watch the last episodes of Game of Thrones and you watch like reviewers and all that shit, it was fucking Christmas, man. It was fucking fun.
Yeah.
The episodes were dog
Even though it
shit.
was disappointing,
Yeah.
you still. Man, I remember I was looking for my predictors like every episode, and throughout the week too, waiting for the next episode to come. Just
Yeah.
what do you think? Like you've read the books, so what do you think is up? And then they put a half hour out like prediction episode, and it's okay, cool. You're not always right. Sometimes you're right. You're making a lot of like theories. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was part of the show. Was the atmosphere around the show?
Yeah. It was fucking fun, man. It was one of the best eras in TV history, if not the best, as far as entertainment wise goes. Is actually up there. It was like enjoyable to see all that shit going down and people reviewing it and
Jordan, you don't enjoy Tulsa King? What are you talking about?
We're about to enjoy Tulsa Kings. You better not snore.
Actually, all right, I'll say this review went long enough to where I can't even do that. I got to get some sleep. But all right, what do we think of Nerdrotic's thing? I thought he was just a normal fan. You could tell he has some sort of weird anti-SJW
Perspective.
bitterness or something like that. Or it's like, come on, bro, you don't need that to shit on season 8. Anyone from any perspective can shit on season 8 of Game of Thrones. It didn't need that, but I guess for him, like that, maybe that was the thing that full tilt pushed him towards this type of narratives for his reviews of anything, right? Because we watched the Reacher show, it's like, well, what are you getting out of this? But yet he's calling it pretty good. It's not bad. Pretty good.
Oh,
like really?
He likes Reacher.
Yeah. Apparently. And Tulsa Gang apparently. To be continued on that.
So to reiterate, he's okay with Arya killing the Night King, but not okay with Arya killing Cersei when she's on his list, and she's on her list.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't just think, yeah, she's on her list? Why not? But he recognized how she was overpowered whenever she did kill the Night King, and he was like, "That's bad."
I think he would have accepted her killing Cersei, but not her killing the Night King. That's my guess.
But he did. He said, "I'm okay with her killing the Night King, but not the way."
I think that's him looking back at what happened and then saying that. I think truly he'd be all right with her killing Cersei. Like, oh wow, how poetic. But her killing the Night King is a no-go. He needs Jon to be the hero in that scenario. That's my guess of what he would want. In fact, I would feel the same way. Like I would accept Arya killing Cersei more than her killing the Night King. 100%.
Well, see, I'm openly what they call sexist. See, Arya should have when that big fat boy that was the cook or whatever, and he stayed back and was powder puff making bread and shit. Yeah. That should have been Arya.
Wait, what?
She should just been dropped off back then. It's like, I'm not gonna go any further. I'm just gonna cook food like a woman's supposed to.
She's not a lady. Arya, actually, like that's probably the main, like one of the consistent opinions of fans is that like everyone likes Arya because of like, okay, we expect her and want her to be some sort of assassin motherfucker,
right?
But like Nerdrotic said, they kind of skipped over her learning how to be an assassin motherfucker. They kind of skipped over that. And then her killing
No,
the Night King doesn't make
no.
fucking sense.
She became blind. She hit a girl with a stick, and boom, she's an assassin.
Yeah, but that's like those a couple of scenes will make her fucking Batman all of a sudden, to where she can like
How
puff
dare
of smoke,
you.
disappear, and appear out of nowhere. Like
To
where was
quote
that
another
training at?
woman, to quote another woman, Greta Thunberg, how dare you?
I was like, where was her training for all that? How did she? I get it, it's CGI, and they're like, we want to make it seem like Arya comes from nowhere because she's some assassin motherfucker. But it's like, even like, I don't know, it didn't feel earned, right? She barely it didn't feel earned. Like she barely survived
Yeah,
the bowl haircut
I
girl.
think I've said that before. I never liked because the trip to Bravos was nothing.
It was something, but it wasn't enough for her to be this savage of a motherfucker, man. The Frey wedding thing, I can believe that because she knows how to change faces. Cool. But her 1v1ing fucking Brienne and then essentially killing the Night King, that doesn't make sense to me as far as like what we saw from her, unless the training happened off camera, which is a big no for a show like Game of Thrones where you show us everything, man. You literally give us everything, so like that shouldn't happen.
No, once she was blind and she learned how to fight blind, she was an awesome fighter, I guess. From then on.
Got it. Lovely. Either way, sad ending to a show with some of the biggest like build up, biggest storylines, to where motherfuckers who weren't watching before all got sucked into it. Like it's that big of a show, and you fuck it up this way is incredible to me. You should win an award on that alone for building that much hype and fucking it up. That's incredible.
Right. That is legendary of its own. The way they fucked it up.
It is. But sometimes these motherfuckers make me think they're here more for that. They're more for the fuck up than they are for like something good happening. Like I'd still be dick riding Game of Thrones if it was like if everything like worked out like narrative wise that I would have wanted. I'd still be dick riding it. I think these guys would have never came about in the first place. It's like, yeah. So now you see why, like the way they review things and where we're at now in film as far as reviews go. Not just reviews from quote unquote reviewers, but reviews from like fans just watching it. It's like, holy fuck, do we need help? In my opinion, that's where we're at. I accept it. I get it. It's what we created. It is what it is. All right. Guess we'll do it like a movie. Do you recommend people watching this review? Anyone?
I think.
This was one of his better ones, to be honest.
Well, forget about him. Just like this review we just watched, like this on its own on an island. Do you recommend this review for season 8, episode 3? Anyway,
Since it's been years since he did this, it's like you're looking back. Unless you've never seen it, and then why are you watching a review person anyway? Go see the actual thing. But since it's been years back, you can look how like where his mindset was before the end of the show, while there's still 3 episodes left.
Yeah.
So you gotta weigh all that in. Watching it today.
Yeah.
But yes, I would say watch it. Yeah, watch it to see where this guy's mind sits and how it like really works.
Yeah.
Like where he's coming from.
Yeah. I think it's worth it.
Not no, like investigation wise, because my bias is he's fucking he's a plant basically for these companies.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. I think he might unwittingly be doing that. I don't know if he's actually knowledgeable about it, but he can be 100% unwittingly a fucking stooge of these fucking giant companies, bro. For
Why
watching.
does why does his episode get to stay in? Jody's got to go.
He didn't show any parts of it though. I'll say that. Like Jody showed clips of the episode. This guy did not. He didn't show like any of
But
the clips.
how many people? I watch people review other things all the time that are copywritten, and their shit's not taken down. So that don't make sense. Jody was critical. That was the difference.
I don't know. Personally, I don't know.
He's only critical when everyone else tells him, dude, there's no forgiveness here.
I've like on the
With his like seeing enough of his, he totes the line for the most part till it's you just can't. If it's just an episode or a movie, you just can't tote the line. Then he'll do it. Otherwise, he's a fanboy. Like, I'll promote your shit. I'll promote your shit. I'll promote your shit. Just invite me to the parties.
I don't know. I don't know about that. But I know I like on the channel that I'm gonna post this to. I've done like reactions where I show clips of the fucking thing. It's kind of fickle. It's hard to tell what the line is as far as what you can show and not show, because I've uploaded videos and it'd be like, oh, okay, this is copyright. You can't show any of this. Like this video will not be seen on YouTube. Then I delete like 5 seconds of it, and they're like, okay, this video is fine. You can have this on YouTube. So it's a little weird. So I can't say it's political as to why maybe one person's allowed on and one person's not. So I can't speak to it yet. I'm not an expert on it. I'm just figuring all this out. But I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
Who else is there?
What's that other reviewer that made his own fucking movie?
Oh, Stuckman, Chris Stuckman.
Yeah, he's obviously that.
He didn't make it yet. He didn't make it yet. So
He needs more money. That's fucked
But you
up.
know who I'm
But
talking about,
Yeah,
and he definitely fits what I just called neurotic.
Nerdrotic.
the development.
A
I don't know.
plant.
He could very well be a plant. Chris Stockman for sure. I could see that personally, but I don't know. I think he's just I don't know. Like maybe just like a plant without like getting paid for it. Like, oh, you'll just say something nice about whatever the fuck we do. So we'll make sure we prop you up.
Didn't he say something crazy like he needed like $6 million so he could shoot in prison?
I think it
In
was
an old
600,000.
warehouse or something, or in a bad prison.
Was it 6 million or 600,000?
Maybe right
It
now.
wasn't a million. It wasn't millions. It was hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, it was 6. That part was correct.
He said like they charge him like $20,000 a day to film at a fucking prison.
They're robbing you,
At
bro.
a prison.
Do a couple shoots there, and then movie magic the rest of it. You're good.
Yep.
Make it look like you were in the prison.
Nah, because he wants it to be realistic, Jordan.
Oh, come on. Whatever. Uh, Anthony, do you recommend this review by Nerdrotic?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Okay. I'm with I'm like, hey man, just for like what I said, like like a time capsule thing, like kind of what you're saying, Dubster. Like, yeah, give it a look. His overall shit, it's another that's another story. But as far as the fervor in regards to Game of Thrones and
Well,
what they
it's just
did,
supposed to show you he's come a long way, bro. It
yeah.
used to be a lot more like that, and now it's a lot more like it's superficial.
Well, yeah, he's somewhere. He's on another planet right now. But at the very least,
Yeah, where
he
he's
did
like, oh,
capture the fervor of Game of Thrones when it was in
yeah,
when it
yeah,
was
it was good.
happening. And it's like that's
When
to
that
me
shit was
that
going
alone is worth
down,
it.
he was a voice of reason when that shit was going down.
Yeah, for me that makes it all worth it. Worth it. Look, watch a bunch of shit from this time period. Whatever, 4 years ago, whatever you can get your hands on in regards to season 8, that was happening in real time, not fucking 3 years after, but like in real time. Yeah, give it a fucking look. That's where I'm at. So
I guess it do need to add the caveat. I never really watched reviewers until I talked to you guys. I didn't care about someone reviewing a movie. If I was gonna watch it, I can make up my own mind.
yeah, but I'm telling you, the reviews are fucking worth it, man. Because it's interesting, man. Like I'm partially like I'm definitely like that, to be honest with you. But it's like it's like hearing something from an alien planet, basically, from a when I'm watching these reviewers. And sometimes they watch movies, and I'm like, did we watch the same fucking thing? And to me, that's interesting. How did we come up with two opposite fucking opinions on this one thing? How'd that happen? It's like alien to me. So that's another main reason why I find it interesting, for
Well,
sure.
I never really sat down and watched somebody for a half hour talk about a movie I've already seen and then listen to their points of view on it. What would happen was for the previous 34 years, 35 years of my life, it was I liked a movie. Somebody said, "Did you see that movie? What do you think about it?" "Oh, it was good," or "Oh, it was bad," or "Eh, there was some cool shit in it." "Oh, dude, you got to go see this," and that was it.
Yeah, yeah,
So actually watching people break it down for a half hour, and I'm just in my head's like, this is just a dude trying to make a buck. Who cares? Let him make his buck. Cool. Now that I've talked to you guys about this stuff and what reviewers are, and like they can, them getting into the pre seeing a thing, like they can get invited to the early releases and stuff, and then
yeah,
their
Oh man,
attitudes change.
yeah.
it's
Their
literally,
attitudes
bro.
change
It's
to make sure they're
literally
still in the club. That
It's
kind of
literally
aspect of it,
access. Yeah, it's access journalism, bro. Literally,
that
Yeah,
it makes it so it's not honest. That's an
yeah,
important aspect.
it's literally like that, bro.
very much so a big
And
aspect.
it's more of like, oh, like yeah, like they already think a certain way, but then like it's like they think a certain way, and that's what is incentivized to think. You're incentivized to think this way, where you don't really share an
Mm.
opinion. You just be like, oh, I liked it, and you move on, be as vague as possible, and
Right.
fucking.
Either they're in on it or they're my God, the fool of
No,
fools, and I just
I
feel
feel
bad.
like
It's
even
like
if you no, I
who's
feel
that?
like even if you're not in on it, like though at a certain point, there's like a realization, like oh okay, like so so like I can't not I can't be another way. This is the persona I've made for myself.
Yeah, give a really scathing review and then see what happens to the next premiere for a movie. Like I'm curious. Me
Yeah,
personally,
well,
I'd be looking at that, but I don't know if these guys do at all.
they cultivate relationships with certain people that open doors for them, and they're like, hey man, if you react a certain way, this door will always be open for you.
Right.
I wonder if it's a
Please,
burying the head in the
please don't
sand.
go all in. Please don't go all in on me. I know we fucked up in this movie, just don't rip it to shreds because you got 7 million
No,
fucking
quite
viewers.
the
We
opposite.
want a sequel.
Quite the opposite, Dubster. They ain't asking like that. They're telling them, yo, you better give me a good
No,
review on this.
I'm talking like how the mafia asks you things.
Yeah, they ain't even gonna do that. They come straight up to you like, you better fucking review this the way we want you to review it, or there will be
Might be a little
repercussions.
more. It might be a little more subtle than that, but the subtle can still be very aggressive. If I had to guess.
Or it could be micromanaged, where it's like, oh, like you're not talking to
I have
anybody. You're not.
handlers, like doorkeepers or whatever. Not handlers, but
Yeah, yeah,
doorkeepers.
no. There's an
Gatekeepers.
intermediary to the people that the powers that be in them, where there's somehow the intermediary is combing through what you're saying about the movies, and then somewhere down the line, that's translating into fucking early access to movies and shit, and being part of a coalition of motherfuckers just lying. Lying or perceiving to be lying. Like, they gotta be lying, because how the fuck did they see it this way?
Yeah,
Or be so
that's
nice about
definitely going
certain
on.
things. I understand being
That
nice,
is
but like
definitely going on.
certain things are just like, come on, this is god awful. How are you? It's ruining the thing that you claim to love, which is film or TV or whatever the fuck. How could you be supporting this? As far as like calling it good, it doesn't make sense to me. But it's a whole other thing. All
And
right,
if you're honest with yourself, you see this in ways. I don't know exactly
I would
how
hope
to say
so.
it, but if you're watching the reviewers, and you're like, you saw the movie yourself, and you're like, I didn't get. You're just flat out wrong here. What are you saying?
I've seen too many people miss the green ooze and the Batman, and that was enough for me. So how did you miss the green ooze part, man? Where he jabs himself with green ooze and gets superpowers? Like, stop it. But all right, I want to end it. It's like an hour and a half video. I'm with it. But
Yeah.
let me end it here.
It's
Yeah,
your first one.
yeah. This is the very first reviewer of the reviewers, episode 1. There you go. Enjoy it, YouTube.